Immortality was one of the most coveted abilities of all a great many ancient Sith, with it being almost considered the crowning achievement of the dark side in some circles. We know that Darth Plagueis attempted to achieve immortality by manipulating midichlorians to create life, and many others were also on the trail to figuring out how to extend their life beyond natural means as a way of postponing judgment and continuing their reign of chaos on the galaxy. The ability of dark transfer became the standard way of extending one's life by essentially moving their soul from one vessel to another, a much younger one. This method was used by such Sith Lords as Darth Bane, Sidious, and Vitiate, but for a long time, the secret to immortality was just that, a secret. Whether kept by masters from their apprentices, or temporarily lost to time due to the efforts of the Jedi, or those such as Darth Gravid destroying the Sith knowledge is unknown. But the origin of the ability of essence transfer dates back thousands of years before the Clone Wars and even the time of the Old Republic, being older than the Old Republic itself, invented by a Dark Lord sorcerer of the Sith whose power and influence were so terrible that the Jedi went through extreme lengths to wipe all record of him off of the face of the galaxy, including within their own archives. By Darth Bane's time, the only record he could find of this Dark Lord of the Sith was a single tiny scroll that contained only a small coverage of his life, as well as the location for his burial. So now, Acolytes of the Force, come along with us as we retrace the steps of Darth Bane and uncover the life and tales of Darth Andeddu, the immortal God King of the Sith, and hopefully bring you an updated version of his story, dark transfer, and much more. This Sith was not only noted as being the perfecter of the dark transfer ability, but Darth Andeddu apparently is also regarded as the forebearer of the Darth title, being the very first Darth in the history of the Sith. The history we do know of Darth Andeddu is a loose series of connected accounts, but what our researchers have gathered is that he was once a Dark Lord of the Sith who gained a massive following on the world of Korriban, though he was originally from the world of Prakith. As a Sith acolyte, Andeddu studied the ways of the original Lords of the Sith, namely the bizarre rituals of Karness Mur, and built the foundation of his powers upon Karness Mur's teachings. Those of you who remember, Karness Mur was one of the original 12 Dark Jedi that founded the Sith on the world of Korriban following the Second Great Jedi Schism, and is the creator of the Mur Talisman. The Mur Talisman, which caused the Rakghoul pandemic. Though Mur himself delved into the craft of darkside healing, Andeddu was interested in more than that. He sought ways to cheat death entirely. Through his intense studies, Darth Andeddu was ultimately successful and found a method of preserving the consciousness of his mind should his physical body ever perish. Andeddu also learned the secret of transferring his essence into another vessel should the need ever arise. Andeddu eventually rose above the rest of the Sith to claim the position of Dark Lord and ruled over Korriban as the single Dark Lord, with his own arrogance reaching levels of considering himself to be a deity. He thought himself deserving of a title that exceeded Lord, and thus the Darth title was born. However, as he grew in power, he also grew in paranoia, a paranoia that would one day drive him mad. Fear came about as he assumed that all of his Sith underlings coveted the power that he wielded. Greedy to keep his status, Darth Andeddu refused to share his knowledge with others, no matter how many apprentices begged for it. His fears would ultimately be proven correct though, as the Sith Lords band together and plotted to first take his secrets for themselves, and then take his life. Andeddu though was not blind to the machinations of his underlings and set a plan in motion. His paranoia here had served him well, and right as those Sith rose up to overtake him, Darth Andeddu faked his death and even placed a tomb for himself on the world of Korriban before fleeing into exile. His former followers did end up learning of his escape though, and searched relentlessly for him, but to no avail. Darth Andeddu had slipped through their fingers and was currently living on a stronghold he had constructed on his homeworld of Prakith. Prakith, which was an isolated world located in the deep core. For reference, Korriban was located far out in the outer rim of the Star Wars galaxy. He was many light years away from the Sith, and because of the unstable nature of the deep core hyperlanes, they collapsed and isolated Prakith completely from the rest of the galaxy. For a time, Darth Andeddu believed he was safe. However, the fear of losing all he had amassed still threatened to consume him, and because of this, Andeddu recorded a great deal of his knowledge in Sith spellbooks and scrolls that he stored within his massive fortress. The sum of all of his wisdom, including the details of his essence transfer technique, was stored within a personal Sith holocron. But Darth Andeddu's conquests were not yet done. He would then go on to conquer the entire world of Prakith and gained another large cult following. This time, they dubbed themselves the Malevolence. Andeddu's followers came to revere him as their God King, an immortal being whom they believed would forever reign supreme over the world. It's important to remember though that the Malevolence were not Sith. Perhaps this was intentional on behalf of Andeddu, not wanting to train any beings that could rival him, learning from the mistakes of the past, as he intended to live forever as the one true king and the one true Sith. And Andeddu did reign as the one true Sith for several thousand years, being unstoppable and unchallenged by his followers. However, his old paranoia stayed with him and remained a thorn in his flesh. He still believed that his old Sith enemies were searching for him and would eventually arrive on the world of Prakith to steal his precious lore. Andeddu, as a result of this fear, entombed himself surrounded by his books and scrolls, content with the ideas that he would carry these secrets with him to his deathbed. His holocron was kept inside his sarcophagus with his physical remains. Meanwhile, the Malevolence cult continued to immerse themselves in the dark side while maintaining their worship for their God King. Andeddu mandated that they guard his tomb and fortress, patiently awaiting the day when he would resurrect himself to lead them once again. It would be here where Darth Bane found Andeddu's fortress and tore through the cult in order to steal the holocron of the old Sith master, and thus the secret to immortality. And this was the story of Darth Andeddu. He would make an appearance again, or well, his Sith spirit would, in the Legends continuity comics when Darth Krayt would send one of his underlings to find the holocron of Darth Andeddu on Prakith, desperate himself to finding the secret to immortality. The Sith tricked Andeddu's spirit after a grueling battle and sealed it away forever. What's important though is Andeddu is still around and is still out there somewhere in Legends continuity, biding his time to return and rule as the God King. But what do you think of this strange and obscure Sith Lord? Do you think he was incredibly powerful for discovering and perfecting the secret to immortal life before any before him? Or do you think his fear made him weak, and that's why he only ever ruled over a single planet and not the galaxy? Let us know your thoughts and opinions on Darth Andeddu down below. And as always, Acolytes of the Force, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.